Okay, so good morning. My name is Areen Sengupta, and I am a student of the Ibworldwide Academy of Chemistry Wing, and I have been taught by Mr. Anshuman Devnath. Today, I will be presenting on the topic of useful alloys. I will explain what these alloys are, why they are very important, and then describe several key alloys, including their composition, properties, and uses. So without further ado, let's get started. So, what are alloys? An alloy is a mixture of a metal with one or more other elements. These elements can be metals or non-metals. Alloys are deliberately made to improve the properties of the original metal. Right? So these are some of the examples of alloys, right? So yes, so now one of the advantages of alloys, we've got that they are very robust and durable. And we've obviously got common examples of alloys, such as steel, stainless steel, brass, and bronze, all of which are obviously widely used in everyday life and industry. So now, why are alloys important in general? Alloys are important because pure metals are often and usually weaker than the alloy form. When we've got additional elements that are added to a metal, they disrupt the regular layers of atoms. These make it harder for the layers to slide over each other, increasing their strength and hardness. So such alloys would then be very strong because then what happens is when you have the lattice structure that is disrupted usually, then typically then it's harder for them to slide over. So then it's much more stronger and more resistant from that point of view. Right? So notable uses include the engineering and medicine, which we've already discussed. In engineering, alloys can be used to build vehicles, bridges, buildings that must withstand large forces. In medicine, we can use them for surgical instruments and implants in the dental industry. Why? Because they're strong, durable, and resistant to corrosion. Overall, these alloys can allow the materials to be tailored for specific purposes. So let's move on to our first alloy. This is steel. Steel primarily consists of iron and carbon. Now, obviously, I've noted the carbon content here is around 0.02%, 2.1%. Any more than this, and it will form cast iron, which is greater than 2.1%. And that is not steel. Steel may also contain small amounts of other elements, such as manganese, molybdenum, chromium, nickel, and silicon. These elements may improve the properties such as strength, toughness, and resistant to wear. Obviously, that would mean that it's very strong, very robust, which makes it very highly suitable for buildings, for vehicles, and for bridges, which I haven't mentioned there, but yes, that is one of the features. So let us move on to our second alloy, which is stainless steel. Now, it is similar to steel, but it's slightly different. And the way I'd like to emphasize that is that it still has iron and carbon in a similar quantity, but we have more and larger proportions of chromium. Chromium has a key property here, and that is that it is corrosion resistant, and it is very tough. Now, why is this? Chromium, because what it does is it reacts with the oxygen to form a thin and a kind of protective layer, almost like, on the surface. As a result, what happens then? Now, what happens is that it prevents the rust from forming, and thus that's why it's a very useful appliance in, let's say, our cutlery, or that's why. So yeah, it's tough, it's durable, and it's made ideal for cutlery, kitchen equipment, surgical instruments, which I have already mentioned in previous slides. Because its resistance to corrosion is very useful, it's very suitable for hygienic environments, right? So yes, it has all of these features. So let's move on to the next slide. Now, brass is a really key one. Brass actually, what happens is it has copper and zinc at around 60 to 70% and 30 to 40% zinc. Although copper can actually range from, although these proportions can vary, as you can see on my presentation. Brass is often very malleable, can be hammered into different shapes without breaking or cracking. And it is also very resistant to corrosion. Because of these properties, brass has also many uses, such as musical instruments. You can use them in guitar strings, or trumpets, or trombones, or other wind instruments. Right? Then we've got other hardware that we have in homes, such as door handles, hinges, other trim, right? And obviously the mechanical industry is also, it serves it well. It also serves it well. So we've got gears, got bushings, we've got bearings, we've got screws, we've got hinges as well. These are very useful in most industries. So brass is a very useful alloy. So anyway, we've got one more alloy and then other types of alloys we need to review. So without further ado, let's move on to our fourth alloy, which is bronze. So now bronze also has copper, but it has a slightly only 12% amount of tin. It only has got 12% tin and 88% copper. Now, it may have other elements added to it, such as aluminium, nickel, manganese, or silicon. Why? Because it may improve the properties, such as we've got hardness, we've got corrosion resistance, right? Or water resistance, we can see on there, right? Now, bronze also has a few uses. It is strong, it is durable, we know that. But bronze, one key feature is that it's very sonorous, right? It is very sonorous. So thus, we know it creates a clear sound when it's struck. Because of this, bronze is used usually in bells and sculptures and statues, mainly. So yeah, this is our fourth alloy, which is known as bronze. Now we need to have a look at aluminium alloys. These are well-renowned alloys, which are known to be very lightweight and strong. Right? So let me get my pen up. Okay, so it's lightweight and strong. It has a very good balance of that. But the reason we use aluminium alloys in this sense is because pure aluminium is very soft. But when we alloy it with other elements, such as copper or magnesium or silicon, its strength increases significantly. So now, these alloys can be widely used in usually aircraft and cars. Why? Because we reduce the weight to get fuel efficiency, right? Fuel efficiency. And then, whilst also having that structural integrity that you want from your aircraft, such as like the largest aircraft, which was the A380, you might have known about. So they may also have developed like different aluminium alloys because it has to be very lightweight and carry cargo at the same time for long haul flights, right? Aluminium alloys are also thus resistant to corrosion, and thus it is very suitable for many industrial applications. So next, we will move on to different sorts of special alloys. Okay, so special alloys can have different specific uses. We've got titanium alloys. These alloys are used in dental implants. Why? Because they are strong, they are lightweight, they are biocompatible, and thus they last when they're implanted, when you have a tooth extraction or when you have to implant different sorts of teeth. Then, some of you may have studied this on the GCSE or any of your academic boards. you've got nichrome. Nichrome consists of nickel and chromium, as you all might be aware of. This is typically used for in the wire for the flame tests for metal cations. Why? Now, why? Why do we use this here? It is not only cheap. It is not only cheap here. It is chemically inert as an alloy and does not easily react even at higher temperatures. We've got solder. Solder is the third special alloy I'd like to talk about. It can be used in electronics to join components together. Why? Because it's got a low melting point and it can be easily used to attach these components in the motherboard. So this is overall what we have to learn from alloys, and let's move on. So thank you for listening, everyone. I hope you have found this channel this video very interesting, and I'd like to just leave a conclusion message. So basically, the alloys are very essential materials that will build on the properties of the pure metals. Why? Because pure metals are very weak. So thus, alloys can be made much more stronger, more durable, more corrosion resistant, or lightweight. So all of these alloys, such as steel, stainless steel, brass, bronze, and whatever we've discussed, these are vital in different sectors, such as construction, transport, medicine, technology. These are where alloys excel the most. Understanding these will help how chemistry supports the modern life. And I'd just like to say thank you for listening again. And if you'd like to subscribe, I would encourage you to like and subscribe to our channel, which is Ibworldwide Academy, for more videos like this. And thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed this presentation. Thank you.